The story of Flight 19 begins on a crisp December morning in 1945, when 5 TBM Avenger torpedo bombers lined up on the runway at the Naval Air Station in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, preparing for a routine training exercise. The air was cool, carrying a slight salty tang from the nearby Atlantic, and a gentle breeze ruffled the squadron's uniforms as the pilots performed pre-flight checks on their aircraft, meticulously inspecting every instrument, control surface, and engine component. Commander Charles Taylor, an experienced pilot with numerous missions under his belt, oversaw the operation with a calm, methodical demeanor, embodying the professionalism and precision that defined the Navy's aviators of the era. With a deep breath and a final glance at his flight plan, he gave the signal to take off. One by one, the Avengers roared down the runway, lifting into the pale morning sky, engines thundering, their wings catching the first light of dawn, glinting as if daring the vastness of the ocean below. The mission was designed to be simple, a navigation and bombing exercise that would last only a few hours. The squadron was to fly a triangular route eastward over the Atlantic, then north, and finally west, back to Fort Lauderdale. Bombing practice would take place on designated targets, and after the exercises, the squadron would return home, reporting any anomalies or observations. Yet, as they ascended into the vast expanse of the Atlantic, subtle signs of trouble began to emerge. Thick clouds obscured the sun, preventing the pilots from using it as a reliable navigation tool. Compasses began to deviate inexplicably, and instruments that had never failed during training displayed erratic readings. Commander Taylor reported his uncertainty over the radio, noting the difficulty in establishing their exact position. Despite his calm tone, an undercurrent of tension rippled through the squadron as each pilot struggled to reconcile what they were seeing with what they expected to see. The 5 aircraft flew in tight formation, yet the Atlantic below seemed endless, a uniform expanse of gray waves, shifting currents, and mist that clung to the horizon. Taylor attempted to guide the squadron back on course, making careful adjustments to headings and altitude. Still, every maneuver seemed to increase their disorientation rather than correct it. The pilots had trained for unexpected conditions, navigation errors, mechanical failures, and even emergencies in combat situations, but nothing in their experience had prepared them for the profound sense of spatial confusion that now gripped the flight. Each man wrestled with an uneasy mixture of professional focus and primal fear. Back at Fort Lauderdale, radio operators strained to maintain contact, offering guidance, reassurance, and directions. Their voices crackled over the static, alternating between calm instructions and anxious reminders of fuel limitations. Taylor's attempts to follow the directions resulted in further confusion, and frustration grew as each adjustment seemed only to deepen their predicament. The formation began to fragment slightly, each pilot struggling to maintain visual contact with the others while monitoring instruments that were increasingly unreliable. The vastness of the Atlantic, the shifting clouds, and the gray expanse of waves created a disorienting environment in which even experienced aviators could lose all sense of position. Flight 19 had entered a region that would later be famously known as the Bermuda Triangle. Sailors' tales, long whispered along shipping lanes, spoke of compasses spinning, storms appearing without warning, and vessels vanishing as though swallowed by the sea itself. The pilots of Flight 19, trained skeptics and veterans of combat, now found themselves confronting some of these inexplicable phenomena firsthand. Varying compass readings, sudden changes in wind and cloud formations, and the disorienting effect of endless gray waves combined to make navigation nearly impossible. Each man, trained to respond to emergencies, felt the creeping sensation of being utterly alone, floating in a vast, indifferent environment where the rules of reality seemed suspended. The horizon dissolved into a continuous blend of sea and sky, creating the illusion of infinite space, and further eroding the pilot's confidence in their instruments and judgment. As hours dragged on, the squadron's situation grew increasingly dire. Fuel levels were critically low, yet no recognizable landmarks appeared on the horizon. Taylor attempted to lead the formation back on a direct course to Fort Lauderdale, but compasses continued to mislead, and radio directions proved unreliable. The pilots resorted to dead reckoning, estimating their position based on time, speed, and assumed headings. But the margin of error widened with each calculation, and it became painfully clear that they were hopelessly lost over open water. Anxiety deepened. The men, trained to maintain composure, exchanged terse communications and attempted to reassure one another, yet an unspoken fear settled among them. Meanwhile, the Navy scrambled a response. Search and rescue teams mobilized quickly, dispatching aircraft and vessels into the area to locate Flight 19. Among these efforts was a PBM Mariner flying boat, tasked with searching the suspected flight path. Tragically, the Mariner itself disappeared, leaving only speculation and adding another layer to the mystery of the Bermuda Triangle. Official investigations sought to piece together what had occurred, but the absence of physical evidence rendered definitive conclusions impossible. The combination of a missing squadron and a missing rescue aircraft fueled legends, inviting speculation from sailors, journalists, and theorists alike. Over the ensuing years, countless explanations emerged to account for the disappearance. Some proposed navigational errors compounded by human fatigue, leading the squadron to circle endlessly until fuel depletion forced a crash. Others suggested sudden storms, rogue waves, or uncharted weather phenomena. More speculative theories spoke of magnetic anomalies affecting compasses, extraterrestrial abductions, or paranormal influences associated with the Bermuda Triangle. Authors, researchers, and enthusiasts debated each theory, analyzing mission logs, weather reports, and radio transcripts, yet no consensus was reached. The disappearance became emblematic of humanity's vulnerability in the face of the vast, unpredictable forces of nature. Flight 19 became a symbol, a cautionary tale of skill, preparation, and the limits of human knowledge. Each pilot, experienced and disciplined, had been trained for emergencies, yet even the most proficient navigators can succumb to the confusion of open water and unpredictable weather. Their story resonates as a stark reminder of the power and mystery of the natural world and the enduring fascination of unexplained events. The Atlantic, vast and indifferent, claimed these men, leaving their fates shrouded in mystery. The narrative of Flight 19 also underscores human resilience and camaraderie. Throughout the ordeal, the pilots remained professional, coordinating efforts to maintain formation, attempting navigational corrections, and communicating continuously with each other and the base. Their discipline, in the face of uncertainty, is remarkable, demonstrating the combination of skill and courage that defined World War II veterans. Yet, the ocean's enormity and the complexities of navigation in an area notorious for anomalies proved insurmountable. In the absence of recovery or conclusive evidence, Flight 19 stands as a testament to both human skill and human vulnerability. Even decades later, the legend of Flight 19 continues to inspire fascination and speculation. It has been the subject of books, documentaries, academic studies, and countless retellings. Each account revisits the tension, uncertainty, and extraordinary courage exhibited by the pilots. The story also serves as a historical lens into post-war military training practices, navigation technology of the era, and the human capacity for problem-solving under extreme stress. It intertwines fact, speculation, and legend, creating a narrative that is simultaneously historical and mythic. Flight 19 remains an enduring enigma. The aircraft, the pilots, and the rescue mission vanished without a trace, leaving only fragments of evidence and a narrative rich in unanswered questions. The Atlantic Ocean, mysterious and imposing, holds these men in its memory, along with all who have vanished in its depths. The tale of Flight 19 embodies the allure of the unknown, the limits of human understanding, and the perpetual fascination with the forces that lie just beyond our grasp. It is a story of skill and courage, loss and speculation, and the human desire to explore, understand, and confront the vast, unpredictable world. The story also delves into the psychological strain of prolonged uncertainty. As hours passed, each pilot faced his own internal battle: fear of the unknown, the weight of responsibility for others, and the creeping awareness that traditional training might not suffice. Sleep deprivation, stress, and the monotony of endless clouds and gray waters compounded the danger. In these conditions, judgment can become impaired, and small errors magnify into potentially fatal mistakes. The account of Flight 19 thus serves as a profound case study in human endurance under extreme stress, the interaction of environmental factors with cognitive performance, and the subtle ways in which well-trained individuals can be undone by circumstances beyond their control. The legend of Flight 19 has become a cultural touchstone, referenced in literature, cinema, and folklore. Its story captures the imagination, because it blends human skill with inexplicable mystery. Each retelling emphasizes both the heroism and vulnerability of the pilots. The narrative serves as a mirror, reflecting our curiosity about the world, our desire to master it, and our recognition that some phenomena resist explanation. Flight 19, in this sense, is more than an event. It is an enduring symbol of human endeavor, courage, and the mystique of the unknown. The ocean, in its vastness, becomes a character in itself. Waves rise like silent walls, clouds drift with a quiet menace, and the horizon blends seamlessly with the sky, erasing all sense of direction. Taylor and his men fight not only the elements, but their own minds, grappling with isolation, fatigue, and the creeping terror of invisibility. Each radio transmission, each attempted course correction, is a desperate attempt to reclaim certainty. Yet the Atlantic seems to resist, mocking their precision and training. In their hearts, the pilots maintain hope, but the deeper they venture, the more the ocean's indifference becomes evident, a reminder that human control is but an illusion in the face of nature's vastness. The pilots' individual stories also add depth to the ordeal. Lieutenant Robert Cox, for instance, was a meticulous navigator, calculating courses with precision and noting each deviation in his notebook. Lieutenant George Watson, younger and more impulsive, struggled to reconcile his instincts with the instruments that appeared to contradict them. Ensigns were equally focused, trying to maintain formation while managing growing anxiety. Every decision, however small, carried enormous weight, as a single miscalculation could determine life or death. The narrative thus shifts between the collective challenge of the squadron and the intensely personal experiences of each man.